Hey guys, hopefully everybody's having a good day. If you remember yesterday where we left off, Little Bear had just, or Omri had just made the horse for Little Bear, and he was starting to try to be able to ride it. So we'll pick up there, finish chapter 3, and then we'll start chapter 4 tomorrow. Little Bear made no sudden moves. He stood quite still for a long time, just looking back at the horse. Then, so slowly you could scarcely notice, he edged toward him, making strange hissing sounds between his clenched teeth, then that almost seemed to hypnotize the horse. Inch by inch he moved softly, cautiously, until he and the horse stood almost nose to nose. Then, quite calmly, Little Bear reached up and laid his hand on the horse's neck. That was all. He did not hold the reins. The horse could have jumped away, but he didn't. He raised his nose a little so that he and the Indian seemed to be breathing into each other's nostrils. Then, in a quiet voice, Little Bear said, "Now horse mine, crazy horse mine." Still moving slowly, though not as slowly as before, he took the reins and moved alongside the horse. After a certain amount of fiddling, he found out how to unbuckle the straps that held the Arabian saddle and lifted it, laying it on the floor. The horse snorted and tossed his head, but did not move. Hissing gently now, the Indian first leaned his weight against the horse's side, then lifted himself up by his arms until he was astride. Letting the reins hang loose on the horse's neck, he squeezed with his legs. The horse moved forward, as tame and obedient as you please, and the pair rode once around inside the cupboard as if it had been a circus arena. Suddenly, Little Bear caught up the reins and pulled them to one side, turning the horse's head, at the same time kicking him sharply. The horse wheeled and bounded toward the edge of the cupboard. The metal rim was up to the horse's chest, like a 5-barred gate to a full-size horse. There was no room to ride straight at it, from the back of the cupboard to the front, so Little Bear rode diagonally, and at a very difficult angle, yet the horse cleared it in a flying leap. Omri realized at once that the carpet was too soft for him, and his feet simply sank into it like soft sand. "Need ground, not blanket," said Little Bear sternly. "Blanket not good for ride." Omri looked at his clock. It was still only a little after 6 in the morning, and at least another hour before anyone else would be up. "I could take you outside," he said hesitantly. "Good," said Little Bear, "but no touch horse. You touch, much fear." Omri quickly found a small cardboard box that held a matchbox lorry. I'm going to have to look that word up. That's a matchbox lorry. I'm not sure what that is. We'll look that up. It even had a sort of window through which he could see what was happening inside. He laid that on the carpet, and with the end flaps open, Little Bear rode the horse into the box, and Omri carefully shut the end of it, even more carefully lifted it. Then in his bare feet, he carried the box slowly down the stairs and let himself out through the back door. It was a lovely, fresh spring morning. Omri stood on the back steps with the box in his hands, looking around for a suitable spot. The lawn wasn't much good. The grass would be over the Indian's head in most places. The terrace at the foot of the steps was no use at all, with its hard, uneven bricks and cracks between them. But the path was beaten earth and small stones, real riding ground if one were careful. Omri walked to the path, and he laid the matchbox carton down. For a moment he hesitated. Could the Indian run away? How fast could such a small horse run? As fast as, say, a mouse? If so, and they wanted to escape, Omri wouldn't be able to catch them. A cat, on the other hand, would. Omri knelt on the path in his pajamas and put his face to the cellophane window. The Indian stood inside, holding the horse's head. "Little Bear," he said clearly, "we're outdoors now. I'm going to let you out to ride, but remember, you're not on a prairie now. There are mountain lions here, but they're big enough to swallow you whole and the horse too. Don't run away. You wouldn't survive. Do you understand?" Little Bear looked at him steadily and nodded. Omri opened the flap, and Indian and horse stepped out into the morning sunlight. That's the end of the chapter today. It was a short one. We'll try reading a little more next week and get through chapter 4 right now. I'm thinking that and reading that Matchbox is capitalized, and Matchbox used to make cars like Hot Wheels. I'm thinking that's probably what he's talking about when he says it was a box for a Matchbox lorry. But I'm not sure what a lorry is, so that's going to be something that I look up and do a little homework on, and we'll find out. So I was down at school today with some of your teachers making some work for the upcoming weeks, now that we kind of have an announcement that we might not be back at school, or we won't be back at school. So we'll get that put together. You guys keep on doing the stuff that you have. Read. You guys can read on your own. There's lots of great things to learn from right now. Khan Academy, or keep watching what your teachers are sending you guys. So have a great night. We'll start chapter 4 tomorrow.